So he sent likes to 252 people he said yes to, and only 3.2% of them said yes back. That just shows you the glaring problem with online dating. That 3.2%. You can chop this number in half if he was doing this in the US. This would be something like 1.1% or 1.6%. Like, it's so fucked. So I wanted to reignite a conversation that I feel like has been had in the past half a decade, and it seems the relevance of this topic is increasing every single day. That being the online male dating epidemic. How challenging it is for men to get anything accomplished with online dating. Now, a lot of people want to say that this is just for average and below average men, but it even seems these days that slightly above average men are struggling too. You know, it only seems like the top 1% or the top 5% of men on these dating apps are getting 95% of the women. It truly is a feast or famine on these dating apps. And this video popped up in my recommended, and it just highlights the discrepancy that I feel like needs to be discussed in order for us to get anywhere. I tried Tinder as an average guy for 1 week. Now, one of the problems that I think we have in this conversation is nobody wants to be honest, because honesty is, in this case, going to maybe hurt some people's feelings. This guy, unfortunately, by a Western standard, I don't think would be considered average. I do think he would be slightly below average, partially because of features and things that he can control, and partially because of features and things he can't control. I mean, I think right away, if we look at his eyebrows, he probably should go ahead and get them denser in whatever way he can. Maybe he needs like a finasteride or minoxidil or some sort of like eyebrow pencil or whatever. I don't even know what that would look like. But the reality is there are some things I think he could do to improve his appearance, and some things that maybe are just out of his control, like his ethnicity. There are some women who just will not prefer to date Asian men. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, when they have this conversation, want to feel good about themselves rather than being honest, which is just so counterproductive. Like, a lot of women, I feel like, will watch videos where online dating is being discussed. Like, this isn't the first guy to do a average guy tries Tinder experiment. And if you go to the comments of some of these videos, you'll see women saying things like, "Oh no, I don't see why he got no matches. I actually think he's kind of cute." It's like, okay, well then go date him, you know? You're not going to? You wanted to just say that? That's just a virtue signal at this point. You know, if you're gonna say something for the purpose of feeling good and looking good, you know, trying to come across as a nice person, but you won't actually do the hard work, it's like that's a definitional virtue signal, you know? Anyway, so what I'm trying to get at is that honesty regarding these topics is beneficial to everybody at the end of the day. So when I go ahead and I tell the audience that this guy is slightly below average, again, this is in no way trying to belittle him or to roast him or to insult him at all. I think we have to be objective when measuring beauty. I think the decile scale from 1 to 10 has shown to be accurate in rating most people, and it's served to be effective enough that it's carried on for decades at this point. So, you know, I mean, I would probably place this guy maybe at like a 4 out of 10 with, you know, some definite changes he can make to increase that rating for sure. Listen, at the end of the day, I do think that being a 4 out of 10 or being a 5 out of 10, these are all things that are 100% not going to cause dating to be impossible in the real world, but online, it's just a completely different game. And this is a game that like I said before, it is just ridiculous how feast or famine it is. So let's take a look at what his results are. I'm sure the results, I mean, at this point, I've seen enough of these videos to where I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen. But, you know, if for those of you who haven't seen a video like this before, I recommend watching to the end because you'll get a pretty good look into what things are like out there right now.
I'm going to try using Tinder as an average guy for 7 days. I'll be going over the whole process from account creation, results, to analytics. With many young men giving up on dating, complaining about apps, and facing a loneliness epidemic, I wanted to conduct this experiment to show the reality of online dating for men. Here's a little bit about my background. I'm 25 years old, 173 cm tall, have a lean physique, am self-employed, and live in Singapore with a population of about 6 million people.
Okay, so that's actually a benefit. So Singapore, I would imagine, is more beneficial for him because he's less of a minority in Singapore than he would be in the US. So obviously being in whatever ethnic or racial majority of the country you're living in is a benefit for sure because you have wider appeal.
The free version of the app with 0 in-app purchases and ran the experiment for 1 week. On day 1, I spent about 5 minutes filling out my profile like my birthday, gender, and preferences. For the distance, I set it to a default of 80 kilometers. I also set my lifestyle habits, personality, and interests.
So, unfortunately, I think Tinder just does this to make it seem like you have any chance of, like making or breaking a match with those options. But the reality is, you're getting swiped left or right pretty much within milliseconds of the signal of attractiveness being either sent or not sent. Like, if you are deemed attractive, you're getting the swipe right. If you're not, you're getting the swipe left. I really do not think the hobbies and stuff are anything that go beyond. I mean, it seems totally like superfluous to add to the app. app because, I mean, it's really just like, do I like your face or not? And depending on that, yes or no, I'll be swiping left or right accordingly. So, yeah.
80 kilometers. I also set my lifestyle habits.
We know this is true as well because if you guys haven't seen this before, it's actually kind of a brutal reality. You should maybe look at it. They conducted an experiment where they took some model and they put him on Tinder, a male model, and his bio said that he was convicted of molesting a child or something. He literally admits it. He's like, I was convicted of molesting a child. And there were still hundreds of women swiping right on him. One of the women that he matched with even said like, oh, you dirty boy or something like that. It's like, dude, this guy molested a child, right? And your response is to make it into some sort of flirtatious moment. Actually fucking crazy. I mean, when people talk about the halo effect giving sort of immunity from saying like things that ugly guys couldn't say, it could never be more true. Like, this is 100% true. If you're more attractive, you could tell edgier jokes and women will laugh. If you're less attractive, you can even tell the tamest joke and women they'll find a way to be displeased by it, or they'll find it to be distasteful. Now, you know, that just is what it is. But I mean, that was absolutely insane. Look it up if you haven't seen it. Look up like a Tinder rapist experiment or something.
Personality and interests. For pictures, I added a few seated photos.
His pictures are pretty good. Honestly, these are good pictures. He's got a good side profile, which is definitely accentuated in this photo for sure. And he's got a good aesthetic for sure. I mean, they're good pictures. I'll give him that. A lot of people, their pictures are just so bad, but he's got some in public. I think this one's in a bathroom or something, but yeah, 100%. I mean, another brutal kind of black pill, to be honest with you, is if you are attractive, there's kind of no such thing as a bad picture. Now, there's this myth of like good photos and bad photos, when the reality does ultimately boil down to whether or not you are physically attractive, you know, whether your face card either accepts or declines. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, it would be better to have good pictures, but there are some guys where you just take a selfie and it's just you sitting in your car, and because you're attractive, it's deemed a nice selfie.
With a clear view of my face and a mirror selfie. There are a couple of disadvantages worth noting. The first is that I don't have the best pictures because I haven't
I don't agree with that. I think his pictures are good.
Had a professional photo shoot before. The second is that
you don't need a professional photo shoot.
I don't have a full head of hair, which is a negative point because it's typically linked with military service. After completing the onboarding process, I started swiping on a bunch of profiles. The plan is to swipe right on those who are at least average in looks and around my age. I'm not going to swipe right on every single profile because that will skew the results of this experiment.
Right.
Over the next few days, I will continue swiping until I hit the limit, which was about 25 right swipes every 12 hours. On the first day, I got a total of 12 likes. This is due to the new boost that new profiles have, which I'll talk more about later. Then, it drastically plummeted over the next few days, and I'm back.
I mean, that's actually pretty impressive. Let's look at that match right there.
Which I'll talk more about later. Then,
so he matches with this girl. I mean, she looks pretty attractive as well. I mean, this is pretty good. I mean, this honestly could tell you, I think, that the reality of the modern dating crisis, especially online, seems to largely be destroying the US and like Western countries.
It drastically plummeted over the next few days, and I'm barely getting any likes. It seemed like my profile wasn't being shown to as many people anymore after 24 hours. Another setback.
So what he's talking about is your invisible rank. There is a meme about your elo in these dating apps, but it's totally true. Your Hinge elo, your Tinder elo, these are all real things. You do get sort of paired up with people that are parallel to your looks, you know, in your league, as they say.
That dating apps have, like Tinder, is that they do not show you the number of impressions that your profile gets. For example, when you upload a video to YouTube, you can see the number of impressions it gets on YouTube Studio. A high click-through rate indicates that your video is clickable. However,
if they added that feature, I genuinely think that would result in, like, you know, I don't know if I can say it without getting demonetized, but I think a lot of guys would, I don't know, stand in front of a train after hearing that they were seen 1,000,000 times and only swiped on once. Jesus. Imagine Tinder released those analytics to people. You know, they could opt into a full statistical analysis of their profile where they're saying, hey, we've shown your profile to this many people out of those. Oh man, that'd be so fucking brutal.
Dating apps strategically hide this statistic, so you'll never know your impression to swipe ratio.
Well, I think it's also because if they did, there would be a kill count on that.
For the rest of the week, I tried my best to hit the swipe limit. However, even after swiping for 7 days, I still wasn't able to review all of my likes. Overall, I spent about 10 minutes a day swiping on the app. This might not seem like a lot, but if I were to spend a year doing this, I would have wasted 3,650 minutes of my time, excluding conversations, if nothing came out of it. It's now time for the results.
I mean, I don't know if it's a waste of time per se. I mean, I do think online dating is very efficient. Like, obviously, there's billions of drawbacks to it. I mean, you're talking about mental health damage. You're talking about question of objectification and stuff like that. But we are talking about dating here, right? I mean, if you're self-employed and you don't get out at all, I mean, this guy is self-employed, he said, and if his job is doing YouTube or I don't know what he does, if he doesn't have any coworkers and he doesn't have any reason to get outside of his house, I don't think online dating is a waste of time. I think it's actually kind of a necessity at this point. So I disagree with him saying it's like a waste. I think it's one of the worst arguments against these types of apps, that it's like a waste of time or something, when it's like, we're literally talking about your wife. We're talking about your future offspring. That's like the purpose of human existence, is like reproduction and stuff. I mean,
After using Tinder for a week, I swiped a total of 447 times. Out of those 447 swipes, I swiped right about 252 times and got 8 matches. Out of the 252 right swipes, 244 of them were no match. However, I managed to get a total of 14 likes on the app, 7 of which are still hidden. Despite swiping for over 447 times, I was still unable to review those likes. These results may seem depressing, but if you take a look at the average match
what's this, 3.2%? Oh man, that's fucked.
rate for men,
I mean, oh, Jesus. So he sent likes to about, so 252 people he said yes to, and only 3.2% of them said yes back. Again, that just shows you the glaring problem with online dating. That 3.2%. Now, I mean, the reality is, right, I mean, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but you can chop this number in half if he was doing this in the US. This would be something like 1.1% or 1.6%. Like, it's so fucked. Like, honestly, I think the worst part of this all is thinking that this is as bad as it gets. That 3.2% is like astronomically low, right? But it's knowing that if he were to do this in the US or the UK, that it would be even lower, which is what makes it so depressing and so sad. And unfortunately, I feel like, as someone who's self-employed and, it's like you don't really have kind of a choice. You kind of have to roll around in the mud and like play the game.
I'm almost on par with it. According to Tinder Insights, men have an average match rate of 2.5%, while women have an average match rate of
Right, but that's like the total like conglomerate amount of users on the app. It's not region locked, so it's even lower.
33%.
Jesus Christ, it's really that bad? 2.5%? I mean, it makes sense. Like, here's the reality of it. Like, if you're a woman, right, and you're on Tinder, what is the actual incentive for you to swipe right on somebody who you're just not attracted to? Or someone who on the first glance, your first impression of them, you're not physically attracted to them. You don't feel anything. It's like, there's no benefit to swiping right on that if you're a woman. So, I mean, as much as this data brings me great sorrow, the counter argument, like, what do you even say to this? It's like women should be more accepting. It's like, well, no, it doesn't really work like that. You can't force attraction. This is something I've always said, where it's like, if you want to say that, like, this is a conversation that I feel like has been had as part of the fat acceptance movement. They've tried to say that you're fat phobic if you won't date someone who's plus size. Well, it's like, you literally cannot force somebody's dick to get hard. You cannot force somebody to find attractiveness where they don't find it, find beauty where they don't find it. That's just like, you're trying to get into like their hard wiring and rewire it. That's not something you're going to be able to do. Especially, I mean, you can't propagandize somebody out of shit they've learned when they were like 3 years old watching TV and like their first, sort of interactions in society, right? That's just what I believe. You can't force attraction. And so when women get on these apps, it's like, why wouldn't you only just swipe right on like the 5% of men that you would fuck like on the same night? Because that's only who you'd truly be attracted to physically almost immediately, right? Not to say that in person it's, the same, because in person the data is incredibly different. Like if you were a woman and then you meet some guy who you wouldn't have swiped right on Tinder, you could still fuck him and find him like to be attractive and you'd enjoy it. But the issue is that it's one of those things where obviously you're being told pretty plainly that this stuff is not beneficial for men and it's not good for men, yet you can't really do anything else. And I know people are going to disagree in the comments. They're going to say, well, no, you just go here, join a club, do this, do that. It's like, there's so many issues with that line of thinking, right? I mean, first of all, if you're joining something for the sole purpose of trying to mingle with women, like that has completely defeated the purpose. So you just can't. Like, that's not gonna work. You can't. It's also far more time consuming. It'll cost you more money, and you have a higher chance, I feel like, of being looked at creepy if you're joining, like, let's say the chess club, and the entire time you're trying to just like find a girl. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, right? And so I do think for a lot of people, I mean, there's economic reasons, there's time reasons. Like most of where they're gonna be meeting women is online, and knowing how the odds are just stacked against you as a guy online, it really does make you think, like, what is the solution, you know? And that's why I think we're seeing a rise in looks maxing so heavily, because if what matters most is your first impression, your first photo, well, then you better look good for the photo. You better have maximized your looks in every single way to where when some woman sees you for the first time, the odds of her swiping right are drastically increased, right?
This means that women are 13 times more likely to find a match on Tinder as compared to men. Apart from these statistics, what I've realized after using the app for a few days is that there are almost no locals. I live in Singapore, and the vast majority of Tinder users are either foreigners or permanent residents. The app has seriously gone downhill after COVID, and I remember that it wasn't like this back in 2018 to 2019. It's time to come clean and talk a bit about what I've learned. I've actually used Tinder in the past, averaged a match a week for about 2 years, and had a number of conversations off the app. However, these conversations were a waste of time because no relationships came out of them. It felt almost impossible to make it out of the talking stage because of inconsistent messages, ghosters, and flakers. That was from 2018 to 2019, but for some reason, it feels much worse today. When it comes to
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I think online dating has only grown bigger.
online dating,
I think Hinge wasn't even around in 2016, so...
both men and women suffer setbacks. Generally, men have too little options, while women have too many options. Part of this is because men significantly outnumber women on dating apps with a
Right,
2-to-1 gender
obviously.
ratio. Another part is the huge difference in pickiness. According to an interview with Tinder CEO, men swipe right about 46% of the time, while women only do so 14% of the time. However,
That's just fucking insane.
this interview was conducted 10 years ago. According to new data by Tinder Insights,
Oh, it's definitely worse now.
women only swipe right 7% of the time in
Jesus
2025.
Christ.
As a woman, having an abundance of choices can lead to inundation.
How many people do you swipe right on compared to the average male/female user? So, yeah, it looks like men swipe 40% of the time and women swipe 7% of the time. So, in the new data, it looks like men have gotten 6% pickier while women have gotten 7% pickier. But the pickiness from women, they are now 200% pickier, whereas men are like, what is it, like 5% pickier? That is just, oh my God, that's so fucked, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is just rope fuel, bro. What do you, like, this is not good.
Or regrettable decisions.
7% I mean, wow.
On the other hand, as a man, if you don't look like a model or you don't have Instagrammable photos, you are practically invisible on these apps. That being said, even if you are a Chad, you would still underperform the average woman in terms of likes and matches.
That is also the biggest mindfuck. If you are even like model tier looking as a guy, you will still get less likes than the average woman does on Tinder, which is just like, I can't even wrap my head around what that is like. I mean, I feel like if I was a woman who used these apps, I would never even feel compelled to develop any sort of personality at all. Like, I would never have anything interesting going on because my life would just be a series of like events or things that have been arranged because of all the men that are trying to get in my pants. It's like, you know, you literally can just go from guy to guy that you find interesting, and he'll make your life interesting enough to the point where you don't even have to think about like who you are. It's absolutely insane. It's like, I see stuff like this. I don't think boomers truly understand like how good they had it. Like, you don't understand how fucked this is for the average guy. And it's like, you know, you have to look at this in the context of how modern society is at large. Dude, boomers, when they have the fucking audacity to be condescending to Gen Zers about working hard and confidence and all this bullshit, it's like, dude, not only have you made like you left, dude, you don't know how different it is, and it shows every time you open your mouth. Nobody can afford a home. Nobody can get a wife. Nobody can escape the woke dog shit. You know, everything is advertising, and the food is garbage. It's like, dude, it's shit's so bad right now, and they have no idea, and they'll blame you for it. They'll blame you for not thriving in this environment that is just designed to suffocate you. It's like, oh yeah, 7% of women swipe right, so have fun not affording a home and then getting addicted to foot porn on OnlyFans. It's like, yeah, I mean, you're fucked. You're fucked.
Which I'll talk about in a moment. In addition, using dating apps takes a huge toll on your mental health. There are
Right.
definitely success stories, and meaningful relationships can be formed through them. However, for the average guy with mediocre photos and looks, it's better to stay off the apps because the negatives outweighs the positives. The amount of time taken to swipe and converse only to get nowhere is better
this is up for debate. I think that it's definitely the case that anything is better than nothing. So like, let's just say that you get on the dating apps, you spend maybe call it 3 hours a month, or I think 3 hours a month makes a lot of sense. 3 hours a month on the apps, and if you're an average guy, I can assume in once a month, I assume every month you'll probably get around 10 matches if you're average, maybe slightly more, slightly less. And I don't think that those, getting those is a waste of time. It's like just by making the app, you've opened yourself up to a non-zero chance of a relationship that didn't previously exist before having them. And obviously it might do some damage to your mental health, and if you're a sensitive person, I wouldn't recommend it. But the just having the door open, I feel like is better than having the door closed, right? But it is absolutely the fact that looking at the data and then experiencing it, right, becoming part of this statistic is definitely going to damage a lot of people. And I mean, simultaneously, I think that it can be maybe fuel for some people to improve their looks and improve their aesthetics, which I think can benefit you in basically every way of your life. But I do think for the most part, it is a negative experience for people, but it's a negative experience that you almost kind of have to endure in a fucked up way, right?
Better use doing something productive, like hitting the gym or starting a side hustle. As I mentioned earlier,
Well, I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
dating apps like Tinder do not show you the number of impressions your profile gets, so you'll never know how many people view your profile and the percentage.
Yeah, you can kind of just, with Tinder, delete your account after the sort of like the noob boost wears off. Like, I mean, I've done this a few times. When I was on Tinder, it would just be like, I would make the account, I'd farm like the first like 15, 20 likes that you get from like the first few hours from being on the app, because they just show your profile to everybody because they have to gauge whether people find you attractive or not. I'd farm those, see if they were good matches, and if they weren't, I just reset it at a different time the next day, because the next day, if people are using the app, they're probably using it at the same time every day. And so if you switch the time that you're using it, you're going to get like a new like survey of people who are determining if they like you or not. And maybe they'll be, more attracted to you than the other, batch or whatever. So yeah, never buy the fucking monetization stuff. Never buy Tinder Platinum or Tinder Gold. It's like, there's just no reason that it will not benefit you. Unless you have like 100 matches waiting for you and you want to like just match with all of them, it's just not worth it. You're not going to get more matches. You'll actually get less, I think. I do believe women kind of judge you for having the like Tinder Platinum badge on you. It's like you're literally wearing a virgin watermark. Like you take it off, There's just nothing about it that attracts women, and it certainly is not going to, I feel like, lead to long-term relationships. You're just putting more money in the pockets of the people that are mind-raping society.
Who swipe right on it. After all, conventional dating apps are designed to encourage male users to spend money on them by limiting visibility.
Has a single woman ever purchased Tinder Platinum? I'm actually wondering how much. If they made it so that men couldn't buy Tinder Platinum and only women could, I think they'd be out of business.
Likes and matches. Tinder's Noob Boost proves this point because you'll find the most success on the app in the first 24 hours. After a week, your profile's visibility will fall off a cliff. The Noob Boost is a feature that gives you a dopamine rush and sets an expectation that the app
Oh damn, data by wheat waffles, huh? This guy knows what's good.
works. After the initial boost, Tinder will drastically reduce your profile's visibility.
Okay, let me move my camera here. So it says example of a Chad profile, not my data. We have matches and then a day. Yeah, so it's like yeah, exactly. So regardless of your attractiveness, I think Tinder is just trying to butter you up, right? They're giving you a ridiculous amount of exposure to tell you that the app is like worth using. And then after they get you in by showing the proof of concept, like look at all these matches you're getting, and then it stops. Yeah, exactly. They're giving you a taste of something. They're giving you a sample of the service and like, kind of selling you a false reality in the beginning, and then they just cuck your profile, even if you're attractive.
And it's not just you. This happens to almost every single male profile, including high quality ones. This is proven by the YouTuber Wheat Waffles, who conducted an experiment using expertly enhanced professional photos of himself. The initial spike in the number of matches is caused by...
Oh yeah, theoretically you could game the system by deleting and recreating your... Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, but you won't get banned from it. You can just use Google Voice phone number or something. Like, they can only ban your phone number. Like, they don't have somebody going in there scanning all your photos. I mean, they already have, like, millions of users, right? So all they can do, the best they can do is ban your number. In that case, they don't have a system to circumvent the fake phone numbers, like the spoofing phone numbers, because by not allowing spoofing phone numbers, you're potentially declining good money. You're potentially declining a guy who might spend a lot on Tinder Platinum. So little ball knowledge for you guys.
By the Noob Boost, which benefits new profiles. After 48 hours, his number of daily matches went from 43 to an average about 5. The psychological trick is that you are shown how good the app could be thanks to the boost, and now you are tempted to pay to get back to the level. Theoretically, You could game the system by
Which, by the way, I don't think this has to be said, but this is just like evil. Like, I know this is business, but it's like actually evil.
occasionally
You're like, hey, you might be worth something. Like, oh wow, women might actually like you for once. And then they just rug pull you.
deleting and recreating your profile, but that could put your account at risk of getting banned. If you have disposable income and you're looking for experience, sites like Seeking Arrangement or Rent a Date services are honestly better alternatives.
I mean, that's just like... That website is just for like old guys to take like hot young women on sushi dates and then try to fuck them by buying them like a handbag. Do not use Seeking Arrangements.
Otherwise, you'll probably find more success with cold approaches. According to a study done by OkCupid, women find 80% of men on the app unattractive, and a mere 5% considered most attractive. On the other hand, men rate women across a wider spectrum with a fairly even distribution of ratings. There is an argument that the data is skewed because men swipe right at almost everyone and then look at the results after. However,
these comments are insane. I find 1 attractive out of 3 million. Every woman is beautiful. There's like 5 men in the world that are attractive. This is insane. This is actually insane.
This is false because earlier in this video, I shared a couple of statistics indicating that men swipe right only 40% of the time on average. Social media platforms like TikTok take the disparity in how women perceive male attractiveness to the next level. One user mentioned that there are maybe 5 attractive men in the entire world and got over 20,000 likes. Another user mentioned that she only finds 1 man attractive.
It's actually crazy, dude. It's like, oh man, this is just such a fucking evil thing to read. I mean, this is the sort of thing where it's like, you have to just not read these because if you do, you're just, I mean, it's literally just, like I said earlier, it's just rope fuel, bro. Like, if you just read this stuff, you will become like a very spiteful, hateful person. And I think I'll try to use my platform for good and tell you that this is not the reality of women. Like, I feel like they're talking in this extreme hyperbole to a level where it's just like obnoxious and will make you sad, but it's not 1 attractive out of 3 million. Okay, what she's saying here, she's exaggerating, and she'd open her legs for the right guy.
Out of 3 million.
Keep your head up, King.
Looking at all of the data, if I were to give my younger self one piece of advice, it would be to stay away from dating apps. In fact, the best decision that I've ever made in my life was deleting these apps and focusing on myself. Over the last 5 years, from 2020 to 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I also do think that depending on where you are in life, the best thing you can do is just to, build yourself up as a person. Like, there's a saying, it's something like, you have to build up a beautiful garden so that way butterflies come to it. And even if no butterflies come to it, you still have a beautiful garden. So it's like, get rich, get jacked, live a good life, be an interesting person. And if that doesn't even attract girls, then you still have all the stuff. So it's kind of a win-win, right? And I think it's a good quote.
Prioritizing on 2 main things, improving my fitness and my financials. I went from being a scrawny teen to a toned and healthier version of myself. I've also started my own media property, investing, affiliate marketing, and a couple of YouTube channels, reaching millions of people worldwide. I wouldn't trade this for anything else.
Well, that was a great video. I mean, I completely agree. Yeah, drop the like, check out the video for yourself. And yeah, I mean, the comments. Oh yeah, this was what I was talking about. Like, this is the guy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's anyway, you probably don't need me to keep on going about this, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If you have any thoughts, leave them down in the comments. I'll read the comments, and I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.